Every year, heart transplants save thousands of lives all across the country. Some of those procedures are going on right here in Northeast Indiana at Lutheran Hospital.
All this month, we've been bringing you stories of survival. And tonight, we look ahead to the future. News Channel 15's Alyssa Ivinson continues our series Heart to Heart in our story for your well-being.
Heart transplants are usually the best option, but technology for devices that help the heart work has improved a lot in the last few decades. Some say that's where the future of the transplant industry lies.
The faces of heart transplants. In 30 years, 300 lives saved with heart transplants at Lutheran Hospital. It's one of 143 heart transplant centers across the country and the only in northern Indiana.
Transplant right now is the golden standard because it has worked so well up to this point, but there's limitations with it. And that's immunosuppression and whether or not some patients can tolerate the immunosuppression to allow that transplanted heart to work.
Medications and therapies have improved over the years, and so have survival statistics. But devices that help the heart pump are also getting better and better.
There are so many people that we can help with a device that we can't help with a heart transplant.
Lutheran put in its first ventricular assist device, or VAD, in 1987. The devices were large then and had a lot of issues with infection. Now they're much smaller and have fewer complications. The VAD is connected to the heart and is powered by an external battery pack. It basically pumps the blood for the heart.
You can live a pretty normal life. Even with a VAD, you're hooked to a battery.
We have a situation where it's a possibility to reach on the shelf and pull one of these devices off anytime, and they'll just make a new one for us. Obviously, on the other hand, with a donor heart, that's an impossibility.
There are around 2,000 donor hearts available in the United States every year.
At any one time, there's 5 times that many people on the list.
That's why exploring alternatives to heart transplants is so important. For a long time, the VADs were only a temporary solution while someone was waiting for a donor heart. Now, the HeartMate 2 is approved for destination therapy, meaning that's the final plan of treatment. Doctors expect the HeartWare device to get the same FDA clearance within the next year.
We've actually had a few patients that don't want a transplant, they want a ventricular assist device.
The patient can leave the hospital, live a relatively normal life free of the symptoms of heart failure, and get 7 or 8 years of additional life. Maybe more. We don't know because we haven't been putting these more durable VADs in for a very long period of time.
Development of alternatives to transplants is still growing.
Some of the limitations from that are going to become less and less, where the external power devices that operate these for these patients, that is an adjustment in life, may be contained in the body, so it's more like a pacemaker or a defibrillator.
Smaller and smaller devices that you can implant easier and easier. Currently, as you know, we have to open the sternum to put a device in. If you could figure out how to put a device with a catheter through the aortic valve into the heart, you'd really have something.
And research extends beyond devices.
Stem cell therapy, and they're working on trying to make that become a way of recovering diseased hearts. It's not at that point, but I think those, with how much research is going on, is going to be something in 30 years we may be doing more of and less transplant.
Do cross-genetic pigs, for example, or some animal that you could get to work in a human. Obviously, you could do tens of thousands of heart transplants every year.
As the industry evolves, from the first transplant at Lutheran 30 years ago to whatever the next 30 years hold, Lutheran will be there, giving patients a second chance.
They have this resource right here in their own backyard. They don't need to travel great distances to achieve great results with ventricular assist devices and heart transplantation and medical management of advanced heart failure.
And you can watch all of our Heart to Heart series right now on the health page of Wayne.com. For Stories for Your Well-Being, I'm Alyssa Ivinson.